Was good, yeah. I hope you're ready for this. In comparison to the last patch that was absolutely abysmal with the crash buff and all that, we are now getting a massive patch. And if I say massive, I mean massive. We are getting a way to forge exclusive artifacts, we're getting increased guild boss rewards, we're getting teasers for a new hero, and we're getting massive hero changes. Actual hero changes that make someone probably useful. Obviously hard to judge at this point, but let's get straight into it. So, first of all, obviously, Forerunner will get their 50 diamonds, and that's the way it is. And now, the first hero to be changed is the Somi. So, for the Somi, they pretty much change everything. Kind of. They kind of change everything. So, let's have a look at what is going on specifically. So, his talent before, Magic Incense, has a chance equal to 50% of the crit rate to last twice the duration, which kind of led you in the direction of needing to build the Somi with crit rate, which obviously isn't the most useful stat on a healer. And now, his basic attack has a 30% chance to grant potent Magic Incense, instead lasting for 6 seconds, and after granting said potent incense 6 times, or just the Magic Incense, he will apply a 20% inspiration, and that is his talent. He gets pretty much the Fuzzy treatment while now having an inspiration that is even 5% stronger than Fuzzy's on his talent, which is really, really interesting. So, and now the effect of potent Magic Incense in comparison to his normal Magic Incense. If the bearer's HP is above 50%, displays 1 debuff per second, otherwise restores their HP based on their max HP and the caster's attack per second. So he also gets a D-spell, so kind of like Midan and Elowin, and it's about high time we get some more D-spellers because we only have 2, maybe 3. I think Eunomia can also dispel, not that sure. Alright, Guardian Fume, so that should be his passive. Before, it granted 1 shield to one ally in range with below 25% HP, and it was equal to up to 100% of the max HP with a cooldown of 30 seconds. Everything stays the same, but it is now HP below 35% instead of HP below 25%. And that's about what they changed for him, and now what they will change next is the Awakenings as well as the exclusive artifact. So yeah. Before, when triggered, Guardian Fume has a 30% chance to take a cooldown of 10 seconds, and now increases the chance of basic attack granting potent Magic Incense to 50%. So the basic attack giving a potent Magic Incense, the one that displays debuffs above 50%, goes from 30 to 50%. Honestly, it's fine. Alright, A3, when on defeat, increases all allies received healing by 10, which obviously wasn't that good. And now, after permitting Ascents is fully stacked, all basic attacks will grant potent Magic Incense instead. I'm guessing that is the full stack refers to him applying inspiration after 6 times using Magic Incense or potent Magic Incense. Yeah. Alright. And now the A5. Before, it increased the healing multiplier of Magic Incense applied during the effect of Vitality Incense by 50%. And now, when casting the Vitality Incense, man, that's a lot of incense names, the cooldown of Guardian Fume immediately ends during the effect of Vitality Incense, reduces the cooldown of Guardian Fume to 10 seconds. Before we get into that last part, I think it's about time we kind of swap into normal Watcher of Rams and take a quick look at the Somi, just so we can keep everything still in mind. So here's his normal heal that grants Magic Incense, and has a 50% to turn into potent Magic Incense, and then if it's fully stacked, it gives an inspiration buff. So far so good, because that changes his talent right here. Let me move myself out of the way a bit. Then we have Vitality Incense, his ultimate, and it still does the same thing, but it now has that added effect. So that is a little glitched. So, the hero can heal 2 more allies, granting them Magic Incense. There we go. There we have the name Magic Incense, or Potent Magic Incense. And yeah. And then we have the Guardian Fumes, the one that grants the shield, which here will change from 25 to 35%. And then Permitting Incense after entering the battlefield, increases attack by 5% for every 25 seconds, stays apparently the same. As far as I can tell, it will still be an up to 30% increase in attack percent, which is quite ridiculous considering the fact that he will give inspiration. And now if we go back to the patch notes and take a closer look again at how he actually applies this this inspiration buff. So his passive. His basic attack has a 50% on A1 or the 30% chance to apply potent magic lasting for 6 seconds, and after he heals anyone 6 times, Magic Incense or Potent Magic Incense will apply 20% inspiration to allies. So as far as I can tell from the way it's written, as long as he heals anyone 6 times since coming onto the field, he now will also grant inspiration alongside the heal. So as long as he hits someone with his basic attack, he grants inspiration for 6 seconds, or with the ultimate that grants it to 2 more allies. So as you can see with the ultimate, he is now healing 2 targets, or basically 3. So he can give inspiration up to 3 units, 20%. And let's take a look at his base stats. Attack of 4,649, which is double of what a Dolores does. And then a 30% attack increase through his kit. The inspiration is probably going to be a bit weaker than Dolores, but the main problem is most likely going to be uptime, because Dassomi doesn't necessarily have Rage Regen, but also he doesn't need Rage Regen. So it's going to be probably kind of a balance between him applying it more regularly but to fewer targets, and her doing it in burst and obviously to everyone around her. But yeah, interestingly enough, he doesn't need Rage Regen to do what he's doing. So honestly, for everyone that has the Somi, his time might come. He might become useful. We might actually see the rise of the lizard people. Maybe we get an Ezreal buff next, who knows? So yeah, so far to that, and let's get back to the patch notes because we are far from over. Let me move myself again right over here. There we go. So, lastly, his exclusive artifact. Before, when basic attack inflicts magic incense, there's a chance equal to 50% of crit rate to grant the target a shield. Was whatever. And now, when basic attack inflicts magic incense, there's a 50% chance to grant the target a shield. Alright, so he's now granting a shield with this artifact, but especially if you really play into the inspiration kit, you might, or you probably want to give him, I'm guessing a Scarab. Golden Scarab is going to be superior because you get the added Rage Regen, which allows him to just apply inspiration to more units. But alright, next one, Lugaru. Lugaru is getting a buff, Lugaru is getting a rework, and then let's have a look at it. So, before, his ultimate talent, or just his normal talent, they call it ultimate talent, reduced 20% of his HP to trigger Lethal Strike. Lethal Strike was dealing 180% damage, or if his HP was below 50%, it was doing 240%. Now Lethal Strike does a straight, flat up, non-HP bound 320%. So every 12 seconds, he's going to consume 20% of his HP, dealing 320% damage. Alright, Thirst of Blood, his first passive. Before every 1% of max HP lost, or that's what it was, before every 1% of max HP lost increases attack speed by 1 up to 50, which was rather meh. And now when his HP is below 35, 40, 45, 50, 60%, all attacks launched will hit the target twice. And the interesting part that you're going to see here at the bottom is that it was his Awakening 1 before. So what they did was swap the Awakening 1 with the passive and make the passive the Awakening 1, as well as making the passive stronger. But yeah, enough of that. So basically you can now upgrade the talent, and once he is below 60%, so either using Lethal Strike twice or getting damage in general, he is going to hit twice in a row, which is definitely a huge step up, especially considering the fact that his basic attack is only made to hit once in a row. And then just for side reference, we are obviously going to have, we're just going to pull him up right here. There we go. So, The interesting part about this basic attack that is, it's not like a double hitting basic attack of like Salazar, Falchia, whoever. He just does straight up 100% damage. Now the part that might be very, very crucial for some of y'all, 15% chance of inflicting bleed. And now if he's below 60% HP, he hits twice, which gives him a double 15% chance of inflicting bleed, which might as well turn him as good as a Salazar when it comes to applying bleeds. So maybe Salazar gets now even pulled down from his throne as the blood monster himself. The uptime is probably not going to be as long, especially because Salazar mainly relies on his awakenings to do that. But yeah, that's just to his passive, and if there's anything else, we'll get back to Lugaru. So, now, Feral Fury, another of his passives. Before, when he was deployed, it deducted 40% of his HP and increased his attack by 4% permanently, and then attack once every 25 seconds after that, up to 16% total. So that is a long time. It's probably 4% permanently, so it was. Let's check that out again, how his passive worked there. One time every 25 seconds, attack increase per stack, interact into. Yeah. Alright. So just so we have an idea of how it worked before. Before that, he increases attack by 4% permanently, and then increases attack once every 25 seconds after that, up to 16%. So I'm guessing it was an increase of 4%, 4%, 4%, bringing it to 16%. So it takes a total of 100 seconds to reach full power. And then you could upgrade it to increase per stack to 2%, 2%, 2%. So in total 10%. And then a total of 40%, so 10%, 20%, 30%, 40% after 100 seconds, and then cutting down the interval by 5 seconds. So, it's technically 75 seconds, and then cutting down to 60 seconds. So it takes him a minute, or it took him a minute to reach full power. Yeah. And now what they did is, when deployed, deducts 40% of the current HP and increases his damage rate by 30, 32, 34, 36, 40% in total. And his damage increase reduces by 1% every 2 seconds after that, down to 15%, which is rather sad. But it makes sense, because with all the changes and them swapping around, he would probably be a bit too strong. So what they're doing now is, instead of giving him infinite scaling potential, they're turning him more into like a burst-ish hero. So he's going to start out with a 40% damage increase, and then over the following 40 down to 35, so 25. Over the following 50 seconds, he's going to go down all the way to 15%. Alright. And yeah, as you can see, they've changed his Awakening 1. And what happens now is that every time he loses 1% of max HP, he increases his attack speed by 2, and that goes all the way up to 160, so losing 80% max HP, which is a big step up, or at least if we're talking unupgraded, compared to 1% max HP lost and attack speed up to 50. So honestly, it looks like a straight up buff. He might as well be more viable for people that don't have him twice, because he's ancient exclusive, so he's fucking rare anyway, who has him twice. And yeah, now to the interesting part. Arrogance. Arrogance gets a bond skill. Capricious Love. Obtain hero Lust, the immolating sadist, to unlock the following bonus effect. Increases attack by 15% during the effect of Hellfire. So, some of you might wonder what Hellfire is if you don't actually own an Arrogance. Then let's clear that up right here. Hellfire, he's going to get a straight 15% attack increase during his ultimate, which is a massive buff. And now some of you might already be wondering, who could that immolating sadist be? And the answer is right here. She has been teased at the end of October, so around Halloween, in the upcoming update where we got all the arbiters. And I was smart enough to take a screenshot, so if anyone wants to take a look at her, as you can see, she's wearing as much armor as possible and looks very tanky. Now, but here you go, immolating sadist, Capricious Love, bond skill of Arrogance, and honestly, let's be real, she looks fire, she looks hot, she probably got the sickest jiggle physics in the entire game, but that is besides the point. So now that we've talked about all those, let's get back to the patch notes. while moving myself over here. Alright. Okay. Screen glitch. There we go. Alright. So there you have the bond skill. And now there was a bug with Valeria that she was able to be revived after receiving fatal damage, or just enter the unyielding state again where she doesn't die. That's now fixed. And marksman Drogo the Crackshot is now joining the Piercer faction and gets a talent that increases his damage by 25%. Now, some of you might be like, who's Drogo? Is that a new hero on Forerunner? Is that someone we don't know? Who the fuck is that guy? I'll give you the answer as usual. There you go. That is Drogo. They are buffing a 3-star. So a 3-star now becomes a Piercer faction unit, as well as getting 25% increased damage to airborne units. And let me tell you something. Out of all the rares, when it comes to Gear A3, this guy was actually useful before. This guy was actually able to probably, if you did give him good enough gear, 6-star max out skills, yada yada, he would probably be able to deal with the right side on Gear A3 18. And now with the changes, he might as well be able to deal with 19. We don't quite know it yet, but Drogo is getting a straight up talent edit, as well as becoming a Piercer faction, obviously giving him that nasty extended range. So going one tile forward. Alright, enough of Drogo, back to the task at hand, back to the interesting stuff, back to forging artifacts. Yep, there we go. So, as you can see, number 2, artifact, introduced exclusive forge. So, how it works is, you play Void Rift Hard or Void Rift Nightmare and you get gleaming meteorites. So compared to perfect meteorite, so the golden and the red meteorites, we now get gleaming meteorites, and gleaming meteorites can be used in a so-called exclusive forge to forge exclusive artifacts. Though sadly the chance isn't yet stated how high it is to actually get one. If it is guaranteed, I doubt it's guaranteed. So we don't quite know the chances, but we are going to get materials from Void Rift to craft more exclusive artifacts, which is later down the line becoming the most important point about Void Rift, because Void Rift has all those exclusive artifacts and you don't really have a tangible chance at getting them because you can only do it once per week, and the chance of actually getting something useful is so small. And now the grind might actually pay off. And then yeah, here the usual one, lust emulating status will be introduced in the upcoming updates. So we gotta see what Forerunner is going to say about her. And then now the probably most interesting part. Let me see if I can actually pull that up properly. Alright, there we go. Obviously we get her mythic artifact, captivating of burning desires, exclusively for the hero Lust. She increases her crit damage. So yeah, we know her name of her skill. So Sinful Lush is a skill, and yeah, she has a whip. So she's going to whip y'all, and that's about what she does. Now, Guild War and Guild Boss. For Guild Wars, you now have an MVP that gets extra rewards if you have the highest personal contribution in the current round, and you get just an extra reward, and you have to actually attack to become the MVP. So far, so good. Enhance the logic for garrisoned team formation, allowing players to add new formations without switching the fortifications. So you should probably be able to set a team for a big fortress and a small fortress without actually needing to be in that fortress. Alright. And then a new button on the calculation interface for sharing battle results. So you can now share your results with your friends, which is good, I guess. A more logic approach at quick affiliating demon soldiers, which is also whatever. And now lower the requirement for obtaining Guild Boss Nightmare 3. It has been an age-old problem that people were able to get the 20k chest on Nightmare 4 before being able to get the 20k chest on Nightmare 3. And now they've taken it into their hands to fix it. Now the difficulty of getting 20k on Nightmare 4 and 18k on Nightmare 3 is about equal. So anyone that can get 20k on Nightmare 4 should also now be able to get 18k on Nightmare 3, getting the biggest chest. And it just makes the life for everyone easier and is a nice change. Now come the important part. Removed rare skill crystals and grant insignia random bundles from the rewards. So we don't have any rare skill crystals and insignias anymore. Removed epic skill crystals from the rewards of the Nightmare 4 mythic chest. So that's the 50k chest. Nightmare 4 mythic chest being the last chest. And there you can't get epic skill crystals anymore. As well as removing the auto-fight chances, arena permits, guild coins, mithril, flawless stars from the reward pools of Nightmare 3 and Nightmare 4 mythic chests. So again, latest chests being 18k and 50k. And then increase the quantity of XP potion rewards in all guild boss chests. Obviously they can't be too generous, so they are taking out a couple of the bad things and adding in some XP, which is at least something you can use. And then now comes the rather sad part. We don't yet know the chance of getting something, but they're adding in legendary summoning shards, ancient summon shards, 5-star psychic power shards, legendary skill crystal shards, all into the mythic chests of Nightmare 3 and Nightmare 4. So yeah, that's at least for the moment pretty much about it. Now you can actually collect first clear rewards if you clear phase, which is quite nice, but honestly first clear rewards you can only get them once, so they aren't that relevant. So let's take a look at guild boss rewards again. There we go. Alright, so what they're taking out is this one over here, random high tier insignia bundle. We're losing the skill crystal if you're talking about the highest chest possible. And yeah, so at the end of the day, they're cutting out more of those rewards over here, making it at least seemingly more likely for us to get the good stuff like legendary heal stone, soul stones, summoning crystals, ancient crystals, and then adding upping the chance to get XP potions. And now we get like kind of like participation rewards in shards to actually then build up to a skill crystal, build up to an ancient summon, build up to a divine summon. Man, they should add in legendary hero soulstone shards, huh? That's something we all desire, no? Alright, on that note, this has been my 22 minutes of rambling over the probably biggest patch Forerunners has seen yet, and we see each other in the next one.